And we are now close to a few minutes over the starting time, so I think this is a natural moment to introduce to you Dr. Girish Varrier. Thank you for the presenter being co-host. Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Yes, Lisa. Thank you so much for this program. First of all, I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to such a global audience. So I would like to first wish everybody good afternoon and people from India a good evening because in India now it is the evening time. So I am Dr. Girish Varrier. I work as Head Clinical Services in KS Varrier Asthanga Ayurvedics Private Limited. So as part of our initiative to give an information on what immunity is, this is one of the programs which KS Varrier Ashtanga Ayurvedics along with Sitten of Ms. Lisa Gears, we have planned this program for the global audience. As head clinical services, I would like to say that what I am doing is actually we have around 4 clinics in and around Tiruchirappalli, that is in South India. So I take care of all the 4 clinics. Also, there are doctors in each of the clinics. I would be not only consulting, I would also be administering these clinics. So that I think is the introduction. Listen, that would be what I'd like to say about myself.
Well, that's a good introduction. So as I explained, the plan is that you will give our audience a short, a 30-minute presentation, which I think is short because there's so much to say about this topic. And anyone who has a question can ask you after your presentation. So questions can be put in chat, and maybe later after, if the environment works, maybe we can even do some start a conversation with the audio, but we have to experiment a little. But having said this, I would like to hand over the floor. I think that's the way how to say it in English. So please enlighten us with your story, your lecture.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So, as Ms. Lisa just said right now, that this is a story. So, what I'm going to talk about is not going to be a boring lecture. It's going to be a story. The thing is, the point here is immunity, the answer to eternal health. Now, when we say eternal, we have to make sure that it is eternal. So, all you need to do to take care of your health so that you don't fall ill. So that is what everybody needs, not to fall ill. So what is immunity? I would just like to start with that. So Merriam-Webster, a well-known definition of Merriam-Webster says that Merriam-Webster, for those who do not know, is a well-known dictionary group. So a condition of being able to resist a particular disease, especially through preventing development of a pathogenic microorganism or by counteracting the effects of its products. So in simple words, what is immunity? It is the ability to stop a microorganism which is going to attack you, or to stop the effect of that microorganism in your body. So either you have to stop the microorganism itself entering your body. If it enters your body, stop the effect of a microorganism. That is immunity. So it is called as Vyadhi Kshamatva in Sanskrita, in our Ayurvedic texts. Sanskrita is the language, Ayurvedic texts are mostly written in. So one example of such a text is Charaka Samhita. There is a reference here, Charaka Samhita, Sutra Sthana 28, chapter 7 shloka. It talks about attenuating the manifested disease or preventing the manifestation of a disease. As I earlier said, you stop the manifestation of disease or you counteract the disease which is already manifested. So that is what is Vyadhi Kshamatva. Very similar definition in modern classification, we have humoral immunity and cell-mediated immunity. I'm not going into detail into that. Now, when we talk about Vyadhi Kshamatva, there is the concept of Bala and Ojas. So these are very important concepts in our body. Bala in Sanskrita translates to strength. Now it is not just the physical strength I am talking about. And then Ojas. So according to Bala, there are three types of Bala here. Sahaja Bala, Kalaja Bala and Yuktikrita Bala. Sahaja Bala is that which is already there by birth. Now for example, in a race of people, in a group of people of the same area, if they are immune to a particular kind of disease, that is by birth. It comes through their genetic makeup. So that is Sahaja Bala. Now, what is Kalaja Bala? When you are exposed to a certain type of environment for a long time, say maybe generations together, you develop an immunity towards that, or your race develops the immunity towards that particular disease. So that is Kalaja Bala. So for example, one good example I can tell you is when somebody needs to visit India for the first time, they would have to take some shots. So the people already in India, they do not need to take these shots because they are used to that particular environment. So people outside coming into that environment need to take these shots. So that is one small example of this. Then you have Yukti Krita Bala, what needs to be done. So today's talk, I would be talking about Yukti Krita Bala. So what needs to be done. Now the second point here is Ojas, which is actually the extract of 7 dhatus. Now according to Ayurveda, your body is made up of 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta and Kapha, and the 7 dhatus. So 7 dhatus, Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Meda, Asti, Majja and Shukla. So present all over the body. So these dhatu can be translated roughly into the word tissue. Now Rasa, for example, can be the liquid part of your body. That is the colorless liquid, the plasma in your body. Similar to that, I would not say it is a direct translation, but similar. For example, the intracellular fluid and the extracellular fluid can contribute to the word Rasa. Rakta is actually the components of the blood. So you have the RBCs, red blood cells, the white blood cells. So that is Rakta. Mamsa is the tissue of your muscle. So that is Mamsa. Meda is the tissue of your fat. So for example, Asti is the tissue of your bone and Majja is your marrow and Shukla is the reproductive strength of the body. So according to Ayurveda, there is a concept that each of these tissues are nourished by the previous tissues. So for example, if you have a good rasa, your rakta is going to be good and thereby your other tissues are also going to be good. So that is what Ayurveda says. And that is why it is key in prevention. So if all your tissues are in good health, then automatically your body is in health. How do you do that? The rasa and rakta in the starting itself, it should be kept in health. So the nourishment has to be done properly. That is how you eat properly is one example of that, which I will be talking about in the further slides. So that is one thing which connects this Ojas part also to the Yukti Krita Bala. So there are some simple steps to improve immunity. So 2 broad classifications you can see here, recommended regimen and recommended new practices. So recommended regimen are things you are already doing. So some daily regimen, some seasonal regimen, some general good practices. So I'm not going to say anything new here. What you're already doing, you just need to tweak a little, change a little. So that is going to help in the immunity part. And recommended new practices, there are some practices which you can follow, which you can start following. Some internal as well as some external practices. So looking at the recommended regimen, there are some daily regimen. So of the daily regimen, tweaking of what you already are doing is very important. So I am not telling you to change the whole practice of anything. You just need to change a little bit. So for example, good sleep-wake cycle. So most of us, we do not have a good sleep-wake cycle. Maybe it is the stress that we are undergoing with the present situation, or maybe your occupation, maybe many other things which is going to hurt your balance of mind, thereby disturbing your sleep-wake cycle. Then that is one thing. If you can bring in sleep-wake cycle, good sleep-wake cycle, that is one thing. The second thing is following the circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm, there are lots of studies going on in this circadian rhythm aspect. Maybe after the talk, if you would like to know more about the circadian rhythm papers, we can discuss about it. So this is the rhythm which is already there in your body. Nature has given us that. So maybe, for example, I can give you is when your body is needing nourishment, it is going to tell you that it is going to be hungry. So when it is hungry, you just give it food. Next part is again about food, eating food properly, chewing properly, taking time. So most of us, when we are going for a job, maybe we might hurry up in eating. So we do not chew properly, we swallow directly. That is not going to help. So as I told you earlier, nourishing of all the tissues is going to happen through the food you eat. So if you do not chew properly, get the optimum effect of the food you are eating, it is not going to nourish properly. Thereby, you are not going to get a good immunity if you are not following this. So eating food properly, chewing properly, taking time. So what I'm saying is next time you eat, just remember this so that you can at least take a little more time to chew your food properly. Water intake is also important. I'm not saying that you have to have excess of water. Now the body, earlier I told you about in the circadian rhythm, is going to tell you when it is thirsty. So give water when it is thirsty. Do not give it excessively water. So body cannot take excessive water also. So listen to the body and then give water accordingly. Eating food at the right time is also important. I know with our schedules, tight schedules, it's going to be a little difficult. So at least here, I'm not talking about time such as your morning breakfast time to be 6:30 and then lunch to be around 12:31 and then your dinner again to be 6:37. No, I'm not talking about that. That is great if you can follow it. But here the time which I'm talking about is when the body is going to ask for. So the body knows better than you that it needs food. So it will be asking you. So then the next part is no strict diet needed, but healthy eating is necessary, which we'll be talking about in the following slides. And hygiene. Nowadays, both personal as well as social hygiene is needed. It is not actually nowadays. It has always been needed for us, but we are more aware of it nowadays because of the present situation. And of course, exercising regularly is something which I would always advise for. Because if you give the body, your body is not made to be static. It is made to be always moving. So give exercise to the body regularly. That is going to keep you well in good immunity. Next is the seasonal regimen. Now, follow seasonal practices is the first thing which I have said very broadly. Seasonal practices, I do not need to tell you this. We are all following this. So if it is very cold, we are wearing very warm clothing. If it is rainy outside, we take our umbrellas with us. We wear caps when we go out. That is what is needed. So following seasonal practices is not just wearing dresses. It is also the food you eat. So then after that, eat seasonal foods. So I know today's market has all kinds of fruits you can get your hands upon, but you should also be knowing about what fruits are good in a particular season. So since all of us have our mobile phones at our fingertips, we can always check in the mobile phone what is the seasonal food of that particular season, and then buy those fruits and eat those fruits according to the season. That would help your body. Practice seasonal body cycles. This is accordingly, for example, now when you have very cold winters, your body seasonal situation around you is going to be different. Your sunlight is going to be less, daylight saving time. So your evening times are going to be more. So I am not telling you to go quite early to sleep, but I would say that a little bit earlier in such conditions. Because during winter, you are not getting heat from external sources. Your body is going to generate the heat that the body needs. So you need to conserve your energy so you can go to bed a little earlier. And since you are going to bed a little earlier, the food you eat should be light actually in winter season so that it digests properly. Because if you do not digest your food and then go to bed, it's not going to help. So there are some general good practices which can be done. So covering of eyes, head, traveling, windy. So why I'm saying this is very important, because when it is quite windy, it is not good for your eyes as well as your head. The cold winds are not going to help you. So covering your head as well as your eyes is very essential. One good example I can tell you is, now I was in my college days, I do not have the habit of wearing my spectacles. I have cooling glasses, so sunglasses. So I do not wear it regularly. I used to not wear it regularly. So while I was traveling on my motorbike, there is obviously going to be wind against my face. So there was quite some dust around me, and there was a situation when my eye was hurt with a small piece of stone, and that could have been avoided if I had worn my sunglasses then. So that is one good example. Right after that incident, I started wearing my sunglasses when I was traveling. So wearing my helmet is also very important, of course. Along with that, covering my eyes. So reading practices, why I have put it here is most of us while we are working, we work while we are traveling. So if we are traveling in a very fast mode of transport, like for example the train, when we read, what happens to the eye is that the eye has to keep on focusing on what you are going to read. Now already the digital displays are not going to help, and most of us are reading through digital displays, so that is also not good for the eyes. So what I would suggest is, I'm not telling you to not read at all, because your work you might need to do it due to your work. But what I would say is every 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, you can look away from your display or your book and look at a distance, or maybe close your eyes for a few seconds and then open it again and then go back to reading. So that can help you protect your eyes as well. Footwear is very important. Most of the time we all do it, but still I would like to say it. According to the terrain, we should be wearing our footwear. Now, if you're going into the mountains and you're wearing footwear which is supposed to be worn at home, that's not going to help, is it? So wearing the right kind of footwear in the right kind of terrain is something which has been explained in our texts and the Ayurvedic texts. Then listening to your body in general has been mentioned. So what do you mean by that? Earlier I told you about the circadian rhythm. Your body is going to tell you what it needs. It is not about just food or water. It is also going to tell you about rest. So if the body needs rest and it is feeling tired, you can give it rest for some time and then go back to your work. Or maybe the body might be telling you to go to sleep. That is also important if you can listen to it. So I'm not saying you need to compromise on the work you are doing, but give a little time to listen to your body. A little time, hearing ear to the body would do wonders. It will take you over the health issues at all, completely. So now the next point I would like to say is recommended new practices. So the new practices can be started according to certain advisories. So those are, so internal as well as external practices, which I had told you earlier. So the internal practices are again broadly divided into two parts: from the kitchen and supplements. So from the kitchen, I would like to start with. So there are actually three things which all of us are worried about. It is either the sleep, the weight, or stress. So the health at the end can be attained by taking care of these three aspects: sleep, weight, and stress. So sleep, I would like to suggest some points which would help you throw away the sleepless nights. So sleepless nights can be better. Weight, shed the extra pounds is what I would like to tell you. And stress runs out the window. So thereby the health, keep healthy and improve immunity is the last point. So I have put a picture of a baby here sleeping, because most of us after a particular age, I don't see anybody stress free. So stress free, the right image for that is a baby. So now sleep and stress, I will give you 4 herbs which are very important and which can be used. So one is the chamomile, the next one is the Indian ginseng or winter cherry, then you have milk by itself, and then basil. So the chamomile, I have put a picture in this presentation on the left top corner. You can see the chamomile flower there. The Indian ginseng is the stems that you see there. So that is the Indian ginseng or the winter cherry. We call it ashwagandha in Sanskrita, in Ayurveda. And you have the basil picture there. So what do I have to talk about it? Yes, well, very simple thing which you can practice at home. What you can do is, one thing is chamomile tea. But chamomile tea you can get by itself. It is available in the market around you, so you can get the chamomile tea. Then you have the combination tea of chamomile and Indian ginseng powder. What you can do is you can maybe buy the chamomile tea, get some Indian ginseng powder, which is also available around you, then mix the powder in the tea and then have it. Listen, am I right if I say that this would be available, the winter cherry or the Indian ginseng powder? So that is, as Lisette agrees, it is available around you. Then the basil leaves can be added to that. If you have fresh basil leaves, it's great. You can add it to the tea for different taste you will get, or you can add at least the extract, the powder of it, into the same tea and then drink the tea. Now the fourth part is milk. So milk alone by itself is good for stress and sleep. One thing. Second thing is that milk with the powder of Indian ginseng or winter cherry is going to help a lot. I give it as prescription medication also to patients who have stress issues and sleep issues. So this can be taken, 1 spoon of Indian ginseng or winter cherry powder along with milk. A glass of milk is going to help. Now many people are having allergy towards milk. I understand that. So you can maybe have alternatives to the normal cow's milk. I would suggest that if you have a problem with milk, you can go with the other 3 combinations. The combination of chamomile, the basil, as well as the Indian ginseng powder tea. Now, the next point I would like to share is shed some extra pounds. So, what are the 3 things which would help you to shed some extra pounds? Very simple: ginger, pepper, and turmeric. Again, these 3 things are very readily available in your market. These are the pictures there. So, left top corner you have the ginger, then you have the below you have the pepper, and on the side you have the turmeric. So, what you can do? 3 things which I would like to tell you. Ginger tea by itself. So just add ginger to water and boil it. That tea itself is going to help. Herbal tea with ginger and pepper and turmeric. That combination, all the 3 combinations together, boil it and use it as tea. That's going to help. And green tea. Green tea, you get it readily available in the market. Now, I would like to suggest that please do not add sugar to this combination. If you want the sweetness, you can add honey to it, because honey by itself is going to help you reduce your fat. So, I do not say when it is very hot, add the honey. Add the honey when it is somewhat a little, it's warm, not hot. So, you can wait till it is slightly warm and then add the honey and then drink it. So finally, the health and immunity point. So once you have shed the weight, as well as you have taken care of stress as well as sleep, then you can go to the health and immunity part. So there are few herbs which I have pointed out here. Improve health and immunity. This can be done through these few herbs: turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, star anise, Indian ginseng or winter cherry again, and basil. So these are some herbs which can help you in improving health and immunity by itself. Now I would suggest, if you have some extra pounds, as well as you have some issue with your stress and you have an issue with your sleep, you first correct those issues and come to this. So there are some things which are very common to all these practices. For example, ginger can be added. Indian ginseng is a common thing. So you can utilize this also in the process. But it would be always nice if you can do the first things first and then go to the improving health and immunity. Now that once you have got the health through the other 2 practices, you can then improve the immunity. So what can you do? So this is, I call this combination as immunity. So immunity is actually the combination of all these herbs made into a herbal concoction. That is right. I have put a picture here. So you can use all these herbs. If you want to see the slide again, the names of the herbs: turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, star anise, Indian ginseng or winter cherry, basil. At least if you can have, say, 3 or 4 of these ingredients would be fine. Say, for example, ginger, cinnamon, Indian ginseng would be great. So this is a combination which is going to improve your immunity. Now, a very similar preparation in India, the central government has advised everybody to use. That's called Ayush Quat. So that is a very similar combination. I don't say this is the exact combination, but it is a very similar combination in the present scenario. to improve the immunity to fight against infectious diseases. So because these have got, there are a lot of studies which show that turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, all these have antibacterial as well as antiviral effects. Basil has antiviral effects. Indian ginseng has immunity enhancement effects. So again, at the end of the session, maybe after the session, anybody who needs all these papers, I can give you the share you the papers as well. So the next point I would like to say is eat healthy. So what do I mean by eat healthy? I'm not telling you to restrict anything, go to just any one kind of diet. No, what I would like to tell you is have well cooked food, have timely food, enjoy your food, have easy to digest food. So well cooked food, I would like to say that, when the food is cooked properly, that's going to be easily digested in your body. So it will be, you will be able to enjoy the food as well. So well cooked food is the first point. Timely food, as I mentioned earlier, at least according to the time the body needs it, if you can give food. And enjoy your food when it is in your mouth, chew properly and then swallow it, because the saliva in your mouth is also going to add up to your digestion. So that is also needed. So chew well, enjoy your food and then swallow it. Easy to digest food is what I would always suggest. I am not saying you should not have any heavy foods. You can have heavy foods. Let it not be a regular practice. Regular practice of easy to digest foods, and then sometimes once in a while heavy foods can be had. So one such example is fresh fruits. So fresh fruits, as I told you earlier, seasonal fruits are always good, and whenever you are going to have fruits, I would say that one small clue or suggestion I would like to tell you is that fresh fruits can be had in your empty stomach. That is good. Not, along with your food or after the food, it's not going to digest properly. So it is always ideal to have it in your empty stomach. One picture here separately I've kept is of the gooseberry, the amla. Amla is also having a lot of antioxidants. That's why I put it separately there. A lot of antioxidants your fruits are going to give you. Thereby it also reduces your age. You feel younger, you look younger. So fruits are very good for you. Have cooked vegetables, because I do not want to say that have vegetables which are raw, because there is a lot of cellulose content, some other content as well, which are going to take time in digestion. So cooked vegetables is always mentioned in our Ayurvedic texts. How do you cook it? Some steam cooking can be done. You can boil the vegetables, or my favorite part, that's the soups. I love having soups. So I usually make soups and vegetable soups, and I have soups. So there are some other healthy food practices, like for example, honey, butter, clarified butter or ghee. Clarified butter or ghee is widely practiced in India. Honey and butter also can be added. For example, honey in your tea. Earlier I had told you about the herbal tea mixtures. You can add honey for the sweet taste. So butter is something which you can add in your soup, which I told you earlier. So that is also, I'm not telling you to add excessive butter. Add a little bit of butter just for the sake of it, the taste itself. Now, I am not telling you to avoid any particular kind of food. Meat is also good for your body. Meat can be taken. Those who are used to taking meat can take meat in the proper way if they cook it properly and then have it. So everything fresh and hot is the mantra here. So any food you are going to have, everything fresh and hot is going to keep you well healthy. So there are some supplements here I would like to mention. The reason why I'm talking about supplements is that now health supplements and immunity boosters can be found in the form of supplements. Why do I talk about supplements here? So some herbs are not readily available in the required quantity or quality. Now, along with the these days, we have less and less of forests and trees, and we have more and more of the concrete trees. So buildings, I would like to say. So when we have lesser availability of the herbs, it is better to go for the supplements. So extraction is needed to separate unsavory elements in the herbs. So there are some herbs, maybe the nut of the herb might be poisonous and the fruit of the herb might be good for you. So you should be careful. We do not know what is good and what is not good. So it is always good to have the extracted part of these herbs. So when it comes in the supplement form, it has to undergo a lot of stringent procedures to see if these are good. You have the FDA, for example, you have other organizations in different countries, for example, to look after this. If these are going to be healthy, these are going to work well. So these supplements can come out only after the approval of these organizations. So extraction is needed to separate the unsavory elements in the herbs, and supplements are palatable and easy to take. So most of the time, the herbs which I would suggest everybody is actually going to be not very tasty, not very palatable sometimes. So I get this from my patients as well. This is very sour, this is very bitter, I'm not able to take it. So if I have it in the form of supplements, if I can give it in the form of supplements, there is no problem of that. People can get these medicines. So I would like to show you some examples of the supplements which we make, Girish Varrier Ashtanga Ayurvedics. So one is Gymnema, which helps in diabetic patients. That is a supplement, it works as a supplement. Then you have Triphala. Triphala, all of you must have heard about Triphala. Triphala is a very common combination of 3 different herbs, which is going to improve your immunity as well as keep you healthy. Then you have Guduchi. Guduchi is another example, that is Tinospora, Indian Tinospora. So Triphala as well as the Gymnema and Guduchi are going to be some health supplements. Then some immunity boosters, I have some examples here. Tulasi, that is basil, which you have just seen, and winter cherry. If you have been thinking about what I was talking about when I said Indian ginseng or winter cherry, this is it. So ashwagandha, and then you have amlaki, of course, the Indian gooseberry. So that is also a very good immunity booster. These are some supplements which you can get in the market regularly. Many companies make these supplements. So moving on to the external factors which you can do to your body. Small things which you can help your body to improve your immunity. One is the body, foot and eye massage. So body massage called Abhyanga in Ayurveda. It is not the generalized massage. It is a physical, strenuous massage of your body in a uniform fashion on both the sides of your body. So that is Abhyanga mentioned in the Ayurvedic text, but general body massage by yourself also is good. So Ayurvedic texts say that if you do this regularly, you can also get out of the aging process. The skin is going to feel better. Deep tissue, it helps the tissue to be cleansed and the tissue to be looking fresh. Foot massage is something which is mentioned separately in Ayurveda. Foot massage also improves your sleep. So that's a secret for you. If any of you have sleep issues, please do foot massage every day. Take a little bit of any oil you have around you because you need that small unction. Say maybe 3 fingers deep, you can just wet your fingers and then apply it on your foot. If this is your foot, you can just uniformly apply it everywhere and then give a mild massage of 1 minute on all your fingers and the center part of your foot. So that is going to help you. If you can do this for both your feet every day night, the first 10 days you might not see a difference, but after that you will see that your sleep is improved well. It is also good for your eyes. We actually do this as a therapy for most of the eye diseases we get. So my post-graduation is in ophthalmology, MS. I have done an MS in Ayurvedic ophthalmology. I actually practice this along with the eye treatments for other patients. So this is very good for your eyes. It is going to help you, the aging process is going to reduce by itself, also for the eye also. Any person who has a family history of cataract may actually get away from that also. I do not say it is going to completely cure you. What I say is you can at least delay the process of aging, because cataract is a process of aging. Similarly, early to bed and early to rise is something which has been mentioned everywhere. You must have all heard about this. So early to bed and early to rise makes a person healthy, wealthy and wise. That's what we've all heard about. So I would like to suggest the same thing. I know today's occupation, we might not be able to do this because there are many different shifts we are working. But at least whenever you're going to sleep, have a good rest and then get up. Do not disturb the sleep. Do not, even if you get up, wake up, go back to sleep. Think that you need to go back to sleep. Give the rest to the body because the body deserves that. Then relax whenever possible. So whenever the body is going to ask, give a relaxation to the body. So I'm not telling you to always completely sit because exercises are also necessary. But when body is going to ask, you need to relax whenever possible. Now, one thing which I would like to suggest very particularly is good posture, because I see this regularly. I have a lot of patients who have back issues. I need to treat them. I feel that medicines are not for a lifetime. So I just give them certain medicines for a few number of days, and then they are out of the trouble. But again, they come back with the problem because the posture is not good. This is very important. Good posture, you can actually get good advice from Miss Lizette Gears and Sitten, her company. So good posture advice is something which needs to be improved. We need to take care of it, because most of the time we feel that, okay, I'm only sitting for a long time, but still I have a pain in the body. So that is because of your posture. So the next slide, I have put a picture of posture. The spinal cord is designed like this: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and pelvic. So this is the spinal cord, and this is how it should be. But I can show you, most of us, when we are working, we sit like this. So that is not actually going to support your spine. So, or you sit like this, you come forward. Now I am doing something wrong. So you come forward and sit like this. This is also very bad for the spine. So good posture is very important, and Sitten can help you with that. Miss Lizette Gears can help you with that. Then with that, I come to the end of this small session. Any queries that you have, you can either directly ask me, or you can put in the chat box. Even in Dutch, you can put it. This time, Lizette can translate. Next time, I would try to learn Dutch.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Girish, for the presentation. It is a lot of information, and personally, I feel it was definitely informing. For me, it was easy to understand, and I found very useful tips from it. So I would like to ask the audience if there are any questions. You can type them in the chat, and if you feel comfortable, it's also okay to unmute your mic and maybe talk to us live. It's an experiment. If it doesn't work, maybe we'll go back to... Oh, there is a question in Dutch.
Yeah.
Let me translate. So there's the question is, you recommend to drink whenever you're thirsty, but what is the amount that you should drink?
There is no fixed amount. The answer for this is actually there is no fixed quantity of water that you need to drink, but there is a minimum quantity. So in a day, you should be at least drinking around 3 liters of water, but that is the least. You can actually give it more. 5 to 7 liters is the recommended amount, but I would not say that you need to push water into your body just like that. You just need to see what quantity of water the body requires and then give it. So most of the time, it is always ideal if you listen to the body. Even if there is a little thirst, the body will tell you. For a start, you can always go for more than 3 liters.
All right, that's clear. And then, so if you drink, do you drink a big amount in one session, or is it better to have sips throughout the day? That's a person.
It is always good to have sips and sips together. So it is not very good to have a direct, just pouring water into your system. That's not going to help. So if you have sip by sip until you are satisfied and satiated, so you can have sip by sip water.
All right, thank you. There is another question. What about consumption of almonds and walnuts? How much per day?
Almonds and walnuts, again, according to the body size as well as the body need, you can go for it, but not more than 4 to 5 almonds or walnuts is necessary for today's world, because we are not actually working out also. So you need to digest properly. So you can go for that.
All right. Then the next question, that is a very interesting question for you, since your specialty is about that. What are eye improvement practices?
Okay, there are a few eye improvement practices which you can follow. The first thing is, as I told you earlier, whenever you're going out or anything like that, you can always protect your eyes. One thing. Second thing is 20-20-20 rule. So 20-20-20 rule is every 20 minutes you're in front of the computer or in front of a digital display. If you can look at a distance of 20 feet and blink at least 20 times. So 20 minutes, 20 feet, blink 20 times. So that is one key answer for that. And another answer is if your window has, the vertical bars, that's very good for you. You can look outside and then look back on the bar, and then again look outside and look back again on the bar. So this is a very simple exercise mentioned. This is called the bar exercise, window bar exercise. So look outside, then again. So what you are actually doing is look at a distance, then looking at a near object, again a distant object, and then looking at a near object. This is actually helping your accommodation. So this practice can be done. Another good example of an exercise is you can look at the clock, look at the second hand of the clock. A complete circulation, you can follow the second hand of the clock. That is also a good practice.
All right. It's very clear that you are very, the English words are losing my mind, but you're very active. It's so nice to see. There is more questions coming in, which is also very nice to see. So another question is, how much ghee is healthy to take per day?
Usually, ghee does not increase your, speaking in very common terms, it does not increase your bad cholesterol if the ghee is made properly. So I would usually suggest on a therapeutic dosage of at least 1 tablespoon of ghee in a day. But again, ghee has very good requirements according to the body weight. So you can have a look at that also. There is a internationally prescribed dosage which is mentioned, but that keeps on changing according to the country. Maybe we have to look at that in detail. But ghee in general, at least 1 tablespoon a day. Throughout the day, you can take 1 tablespoon in divided doses. That is good.
All right, that's clear. The question is comes from the Netherlands. So that's maybe in the Netherlands we can have more or probably less. I don't know. So
1 tablespoon can always be an optimum amount. More can always be thought of. Maybe I can read about it and get back to you on that.
All right, that's nice. Next question. You talked about well-cooked foods. What about salads?
What about?
Salads. Salad, like
Salad.
raw food?
Salads. Yes,
no, not
yes,
salad, with an S. Let me type it in the chat.
Yeah, let me.
SALAD. This is nice about the language. So fresh leaves, fresh tomatoes, sometimes.
Yes, I get it.
Yeah.
So usually, actually, salads are not mentioned in our texts. One thing. Second thing is tomato is not a vegetable; it's a fruit. The third part is the salads can be taken by somebody who has a good digestive system. Somebody who feels that they're having a proper cycle of excretion as well as proper digestion, and they get proper hunger in the right time, they can have salads. But otherwise, I would always say the safe part is always to go for the cooked vegetables.
Okay. That's clear for me. Yeah, makes sense. So as soon as you have your digestive system in balance, then you can maybe have, how do you say, more difficult to digest food because it's stronger.
Exactly. Again, that can be a separate meal by itself. If you're having salad, just have salad.
Okay. Another question. Can foot massage cure myopia? And then myopia, I think, means something with vision?
Yes, myopia is actually one of the refractive errors in your eye. So most of the time, small kids you see with spectacles, it is myopia. Of course, elders also, but elders also have the chance of getting other disorders. So myopia is a common disorder. Distant objects cannot be viewed properly. So they need to go in front of the class to read the board or something like that. So that is myopia. So now curing myopia is not the word to be used at all. There is no science which can cure myopia because there is an anatomical deformity. But what I can say is there are people or there are methods to do treatment for myopia. So if it is not very high power, if the power is slightly lesser, then you can always go for certain eye treatments and eye exercises, and then maybe you can get out of glasses as well. One good example is me myself. I used to have glasses. My power was less, minus 0.75 in the left eye and minus 0.25 in the right eye. So I was wearing glasses. I removed my glasses after taking treatment, and I still practice eye exercises. Thereby, I do not have any problem with my eyes. So even if I sit in front of the digital display for a long time, I at least look at a distance for a few seconds and come back. So that all these things together can work out. But myopia, if you are having a particular problem, if you have your numbers with you, you can contact me later and we can discuss on how we can do this.
All right. Next question is similar to the topic we discussed, but I see some sort of a nuance there. So the question was, what is your opinion about eating raw food? So cold food. Well, the raw food we answered, but cold food, is that also, that's a nuance. I'm curious, because you can have cold cooked food. Is there a difference between warm cooked food and cold cooked food?
You can have cold food again, depends on how your body is going to take it. Some people might not be tolerant towards very cold food. So if it is, Ayurveda talks about the body being very individualistic to each person. So that is what I would like to say. Any foods which you are already used to for a long period of time, it's not going to hurt you. It's actually going to help you only. So make sure it is always in optimum quantity, not too much or not too less.
All right, that's clear, thanks. Another question, tips for good digestion.
Tips for good digestion. Depends, you can always, one or two things which come to my mind immediately are pepper and ginger.
Pepper.
So if you can add pepper and ginger in any kind of your cooking or maybe your tea or anything like that, if this can be a regular practice, this can improve your digestion. Generally itself, you're not going to end up with problems at all if this is a regular practice. Otherwise, for digestion, exercise is essential. So if you do regular exercises, cycling, walking, even running, jogging, any of these exercises for a limited period of time. Now Ayurveda says, Ardha Shaktya Nishevyastu Balibihi Snigdha Bhojabihi. So the people who are used to taking very heavy food and who are very strong, even they have to go for Ardha Shaktya Nishevyastu. Body's ability, what is the body's ability to tolerate an exercise? Up to half of that somebody should practice. You should not get completely tired. You should be just tired enough to feel that the exercise is well done. So that is the exercise, that is the kind of exercise you need to do.
Thank you. That's very helpful. More questions are coming in, so I hope you still have a little time for us.
Oh yes, please go ahead.
So, by the way, people who are joining us, who are especially the Dutch, who are on a strict time schedule, feel free to leave. We are recording, and if you leave us your email, we will send the rest of the questions and the answers, of course. But okay, for now, let's continue the questions. How many cups of tea per day do you recommend to lose weight and to have less stress?
Not more than 3 cups. A maximum of 3 cups, depends on what is the quantity you are going to take. If the cup size is say more than 300 ml, I would suggest the maximum of 2 cups. So 250 ml cups can be maximum of 3 in a day.
All right. And then, so I have to admit, I forgot whether the lose weight and have less stress was the similar contents, but so if they are separate ingredients, then you can have 3 cups of each. And if they are the same ingredients, then you should...
I would always suggest that if you have stress as well as weight problems, don't mix up the combinations at all. What I would say is maybe 2 cups is the optimum. 1 in the morning for your weight issue and 1 in the evening for your stress issue. That would be great.
All right. That's very helpful. So the next question, if the liver energy is not strong, what can you do to get it back in balance? I know that you, at least the Ashtanga is very good in getting liver energy back in balance from personal experience.
Now, liver is actually doing many functions in your body. It is like a factory. Very simply talking about liver, you can see that it is going to take care of your toxins in the body. So Ayurveda says that your body is going to accumulate toxins over a period of time. Now, there were practices in every continent which we were practicing before, which we are not practicing now, of cleansing your body. There were some, there used to be some natural herbal laxatives which were given and your body is cleansed. Those were practices during those times which none of us are practicing now. So liver cleansing is also Rakta Shuddhi, the cleansing of the Rakta tissue, which I talked to you earlier, the Dhatus, the second Dhatu. It also takes care of other Dhatus because Rakta, if clean, will also take care of the other Dhatus. Now this can be done in many ways. Now if you are limiting to certain practices at home, you can always go for clear, clean and warm water is one thing which is the simplest way to cleanse your liver, but not in heavy quantities. That's not going to help your kidneys if it is excessive quantity. So clear, warm water is going to cleanse your liver. Also, other things like earlier I mentioned about your turmeric as well as the practice of small quantities of ginger and pepper is also going to help because these help in ama pachana. What we say is toxins which stay back in your body, stay stuck in your body, that can be destroyed. So that can be done by these medicines. So these things are called medicines for me, pepper, turmeric and ginger. These combinations can help for liver energy. Also, for those who have an intact liver, for those who do not have a liver problem, those who have an intact liver but still want to keep the liver healthy, the Indian ginseng is going to help along with milk.
All right, thank you. Then the final question, at least currently, maybe there will be more questions popping up, but the final question is aloe vera. I'm not sure, is that also the word in English?
Aloe vera, yes.
Yeah, it's cooling as far as I know, but does it also make the acne weaker? Or if you have pitta imbalance with weak digestion, can you take aloe vera?
Okay, now I just wanted to add something to the earlier question and the liver energy thing. It is actually very specific to person. We have medicines for that also. People who are affected with the liver, we have certain medicines also. So that again needs to be a consultation and then the medicine should be planned. There are many methods to clean, keep the liver healthy. For example, Arogyavardhini Rasa is one good example of a medicine which can keep your liver healthy. So apart from that question, coming to this question, aloe vera is cooling as far as I know, but does it also make Agni weaker? Again, Ayurveda talks about everything in the optimum quantity. Aloe vera, the necessity for taking aloe vera needs to be there if you are taking aloe vera internally. Because depending on, earlier Rakta Shodhana I was talking about, cleaning the blood. So there also aloe vera can be taken actually. And if your body is very warm and you feel that it is always hot, you can always take aloe vera to some extent. But again, not in excessive quantities. If you are going to take in excessive quantities, yes, it is going to make Agni weaker. But if you take in the optimum quantity, say maximum of 1 tablespoon a day, that is not going to affect you. One thing. So yes, of course, it will make the Agni weaker in excessive quantity because your body is made up of Vata, Pitta and Kapha, as I told you earlier, the 3 doshas. Now Pitta is also going to work on your Agni. Agni is the fire, digestive fire. So aloe vera is mainly made up of, composed of Kapha, which is cool and heavy, whereas the Pitta, which is warm and liquidy. So if you take a lot of Kapha inducing foods like aloe vera, it is going to sit down on your Agni, which is warm and liquidy. So that is going to, of course, if you pour water over fire, what will happen? So that is going to happen. You can pour and try aloe vera gel onto fire. That will of course come down. So excessive use of aloe vera can reduce your Agni. If you have pitta imbalance with weak digestion, can you take aloe vera? I would not suggest you to go for aloe vera. First, I would always say improve your digestion. Pitta imbalance is a question depending on what is the problems you face. That can tell you if you have a pitta imbalance at all. But Agni weaker Agni can always happen to anybody any day. Sometimes you feel that your digestion is not very proper. Sometimes you don't feel very hungry. So that is Agni weaker. Pitta imbalance you have to see. You have to consult and see. So if your Agni is weak and you have a weak digestion, taking aloe vera is not recommended. So first improve your Agni, maybe take the turmeric, pepper and ginger combination and your Agni will improve. So one example is you shed some weight, I had told you earlier, shed the extra pounds. That is going to improve your Agni. So that is actually going to keep you, make you a little hungry also. So So you can take that combination, improve your Agni, and then go for a usage of aloe vera if at all you need aloe vera usage.
That, I think, was the answer to the last. Oh no, I see another question popping up. Can someone without spleen take all methods to improve immunity?
Okay, that is a good question. Splenectomy, people after splenectomy, this is a very relevant question because the spleen, along with the liver and the circulation around it, the portal vein circulation, actually takes care of the detoxification aspect of your body. Now, if somebody is there without a spleen, that is after the splenectomy, the methods I suggested earlier to improve immunity can be taken. Now, because what I have given you, the suggestions I have given you are very safe methods which can be taken by everybody in any condition. Even if your body is not going to, digestion is very less and also all that, go for the improving the digestion thing, then go for the immunity aspect. Now, people without a spleen, I would always suggest not to go for very heavy foods to digest because it will take much more time in them to improve the immunity aspect if we are taking immunity inducing medicines or immunity improving medicines. So these people need to be careful because their immunity is already compromised, but over a period of time. For a normal person, for a normally healthy person, it might take only maybe 15 to 20 days of the intake of these combinations. But for a person who has undergone a splenectomy, they might need a period of maybe 30 to 90 days. So that way, over a period of time, taking it very lightly. If I am telling them to take 3 glasses of tea, this person can take 1.5 glass, half of that. So none of these practices are going to hurt the person, but reduce quantity of everything, even heavy foods. That will always help improve immunity.
Thank you very much. That is not only for the people without the spleen, but I think useful information for all of us. Now, with this question and your answer, I think it is a good time to come to an ending of this session. I would like to thank you a lot for your time and sharing your wisdom and your knowledge. Also, I'd like to thank the people who helped us present this because we've worked several months to create this. And of course, also the audience and the nice questions. And I can imagine that after hearing all this and all the information, when it starts to really sink in, that maybe some questions pop up. People can always contact me for questions. Men, are you open also for receiving questions? You are on Facebook, you're on the social media.
Yes, of course, Lisette. I would be very happy to answer any questions they have, and I would be very happy to come back and meet all of you because I do not want to stop with just one session of this. We would like to interact more because interacting is not only for me to talk a lot, and the questions I face will also make me learn a lot. So it is always a continuous learning process. I would love to do that. I would love to interact with all of you again, maybe even more people if possible.
Yes, well, that is an excellent suggestion, and let's plan a next session. And yeah, so thank you, everyone, and thanks again. And if you want to have the slides, then give us a message, and then we'll be happy to share. And for now, see you next time. Have a good afternoon, evening, and even to some of us, a good day.
Listen, do you have a feedback form or something for this? There's somebody asking for a feedback form. If you could give your feedback form.
Yes, that's a good idea. I haven't prepared a feedback form. Do you have a suggestion? What people can do? Give feedback over a private message?
Yes, maybe I think I can help you create that feedback form. What we can do is we can get the email IDs of everybody present here. Those who want those who would like to share their feedback. So once that is collected, once the form is created, maybe in another 30 minutes or so, we can share the forms.
Yes, we will do that. And I recommend, Girish, also you to check the chat, because there is a lot of thanks entering in the chat.
Yes, I'm able to see that. Yes.
All right, so
Listen.
then I think you and I are going to be in this meeting until everyone leaves. We haven't actually practiced the ending of this, so.
Okay, there is somebody who's asking about a certificate, but this is not a very formal session. We do not provide certificates for this session.
Ah, yes, that question comes because I've not shared that, but you are normally giving this kind of sessions to doctors and students. So that's.
That is because that is the Ashtanga webinar series, which we actually conduct in both ways. It is also an information session for general public. It is also an information for the doctors to improve their practice. So thereby they have continued medical education certificate points they get. So that is why we give them certificates there.
Yeah, I understand. Yes. All right. Then I can also close the session